And we can go live now to Anfield, where our reporter Vinny O'Connor could bring us some more reaction to that win. Vinny, good morning to you. How much did Liverpool need that after recent results?
I think they did, Will, as much as anything. There was that history element to it, wasn't it? The fact that Liverpool had not lost 5 consecutive games since 1953. And the fact that they went a goal behind, and you look at their fragile confidence, if you like, given that run of games that they'd had, to respond the way they did was pretty impressive. Ultimately, I think there's still things that obviously Arne Slot would like to iron out, and again it goes back to defensive frailties, but the fact is that they were clinical last night compared to the game against Manchester United, of course, where they weren't able to take their chances, and you saw that particularly with that first goal from Hugo Ekitike. Lovely ball from Andy Robertson, Ekitike's great first touch and a clinical finish as well. 2 set pieces. I think Arne Slot would be happy with that. He made the point after the game, actually, how happy he was that they'd scored a set piece, given that they had been conceding them as well. Good header from Virgil van Dijk and Ibrahima Konate. The last time the pair of them scored in the same game, of course, was away against Inter Milan. Was away in Milan, I should say, last season in the Champions League, of course. So, and then you saw the fact that Florian Wirtz was able to get an assist on that. I'd give it 2 assists, to be fair, because he played the square ball for Dominik Szoboszlai, who, of course, fired home from outside the penalty area as well. And ultimately, it was a good night. There was that disappointing element to it, of course, the injuries, and I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about that, Will, as well. But ultimately, Liverpool needed to get back on track, and they were able to do that emphatically away in Frankfurt.
A great result, Vinny, and it did come at a cost, though, didn't it? I think it's fair to say that Alexander Isak's time in a Liverpool shirt has yet to really get firing, and he came off at the break. What can you tell the Liverpool fans watching this morning about an injury to the Swede?
Well, Arne Slot confirmed that it wasn't good news after the game, of course, and looking at it as a whole, obviously Liverpool have been pretty careful with Alexander Isak since he arrived at the club, because he had little or no pre-season because of that protracted move from Newcastle United, and they were being very careful with him and how they introduced him in terms of minutes and building up his fitness, because of course they were trying to fit in effectively a mini pre-season whilst playing him in games as well. And ultimately now it seems he's going to face a bit of a spell on the sidelines, because after the game Arne Slot confirmed that Alexander Isak has picked up a groin injury, and obviously that's not good news now for the striker.
You feel like, yeah, there must be a moment where he can play twice a week, and the first time we try, he did this in Sweden as well, but the first time we try, he has to go off. And let's hope that is not that bad, but he has to go off because he felt his groin. So yeah, many people probably wanted me to play him more, and we had to find the balance, and unfortunately today that balance didn't work out for us perfectly, but let's hope for the best.
Jeremy Frimpong, Vinny, also forced off with an injury last night in Germany. Liverpool signed a lot of players, didn't they, over the summer, but they also let a lot go as well. Is there a concern, Vinny, over the size of that squad depth, with some massive games to come now for Liverpool?
Yeah, I was looking at it when you talk about massive games to come. Yes, of course, they got Brentford at the weekend. Then, of course, it's Palace in the Cup, followed by Villa, Madrid in the Champions League here at Anfield. Then it's City away, that massive game against Manchester City on the 9th of November before Forest at Anfield. And yeah, Jeremy Frimpong being injured just adds to the injury worries in that back line at the moment, doesn't it? Of course, there is cover at the moment. There's Conor Bradley, who came on last night. Joe Gomez can obviously play right back as well as centre-half, but they're already without Giovanni Leone for the season with that ACL injury. At the moment, Ryan Gravenberch is out with that twisted ankle. He's another one who can fill in at centre-half, of course, but Liverpool would rather he be available to provide that defensive screen in the midfield, of course, so we still await just how long he's going to be out. You'd think it's not too long with a twisted ankle for Ryan Gravenberch, but that maybe shows a little bit about the depth. I mean, there's plenty of options in that midfield. We saw it again last night, of course, but yes, Arne Slot has spoken about the injury situation that they're facing at the moment after last night's game, and obviously for him, or for his point of view, it's far from ideal.
With Alisson being out, with Giovanni Leone being out, I expect Jeremy Frimpong definitely to be out now for a few weeks. Expect, not sure, but expect. And let's wait and see how it is with Alex. And although people like to talk about us thinking that we have 25 to 30 first-team players, when we play 11v11 on a training session, we almost always need 1 or 2 players from the under-21.
So it's obviously, as I say, far from ideal for Jeremy Frimpong. It's been a real stop-start to his Anfield career, and those injury woes that Arne Slot speaking about, just a little bit worrying for Liverpool. We'll go through those next 6 fixtures once again. Brentford obviously at the weekend, then it's Palace in the EFL Cup, Villa followed by Madrid at Anfield in the Champions League, that massive game against Manchester City away on the 9th of November, and then Forest at home. Under new management, of course, under Sean Dyche, knows a thing or two about Anfield, of course, as a former Everton manager. So a big few weeks coming up for Liverpool once again, and those injuries are far from ideal for them.
Vinny, thank you very much. Well, Mohamed Salah played just 16 minutes as a substitute once Liverpool had established a 4-goal lead last night against Frankfurt. It's the second time that he started on the bench this season and never was used as a substitute in either the Premier League or the Champions League for Slot last campaign.
There are questions for Liverpool at the weekend against Brentford as to what team they go with, because I think at some point you're going to expect that Slot begins to settle a bit more on who his first choice 11 is. Salah has played too much football over the past year. He was, I think, ever present pretty much for Liverpool last season. Their go-to man, the man they relied upon to win them the title effectively, alongside Van Dijk at the back. So I think he might have, at his age, I think that might be something he's still feeling. And I think to dip him out of the side for a little bit wouldn't necessarily hurt.